Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel At Home with Shell. So today I will be sharing with you how you can get the majority of your Christmas dinner prepped in advance. So on the day you can just relax and enjoy spending time with your family rather than spending most of the day in the kitchen. So today I'll be showing you how to make a really delicious gravy, the crispiest and fluffiest roast potatoes, pre-prepped pigs in blanket, some orange and honey carrot, honey and mustard parsnips, a cranberry sauce, and a Christmas cake. And I'm also making a take on the classic bread and butter pudding, but this one is so luxurious and absolutely yummy. So if you've got people that don't like Christmas cake or Christmas pudding, then it's just an alternative dessert. So lots of prep going on today, and then all you need to do on the big day is basically get it out the freezer and cook it, and it's all done. There's no hassle, there's no prepping, it's just so much easier. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. If you do, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, then I would love for you to subscribe. First up is the gravy, and this is everything that you'll need to make the gravy. So you can use either a leftover chicken carcass, or I'm using some chicken wings, a couple of onions, a couple of celery sticks, a couple of carrots, some bacon, just whatever bacon you've got left over, some flour, garlic. Herb-wise, I've got rosemary, thyme, bay leaves and a star anise. I've got some Just Spices vegetable all-rounder, a whole garlic bulb, some cranberry sauce and some port. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put the oven on to 180 degrees. So to start off with, I'm just going to start by prepping all of the veg and then layering it in a large baking dish. So I've now got a large baking dish, and I'm just going to add, it's not olive oil, it's rapeseed oil, but obviously any kind of olive oil, vegetable oil, and then just basically place all of your veggies in a layer on the bottom. It doesn't matter how you cut them because you're just going to kind of strain them anyway. Again, the garlic cloves, don't worry about peeling them, just pop them in whole. Add in your thyme and rosemary. Just kind of scatter that around. Got my rosemary, got my bay leaves here as well. I'm going to sprinkle over some of this vegetable all-rounder. This just gives such a nice flavour. I often add this to soups and everything. I think I've got a code off as well, so if I have, I'll link it in the description down below. Then what do I need to do? Add in a little bit of bacon. Just would probably work better with like a smoky kind of bacon, but this is just what I had left over, so I'm just going to add this into there as well. Rub all of that together. It just picks up all the flavour. So now you just want to layer up your chicken wings on top of the veg. Just kind of place it all over. Halfway through, what I normally do is just give these a bit of a bashing. That sounds weird. But then it just helps release a lot of the flavour from there as well. So I'm just going to season that with some salt and pepper, and then that's ready to go into the oven. So that's now going to bake in the middle of the oven at 180 degrees for around an hour. Next up, I'm actually going to make a bread and butter pudding. It's kind of it's a luxurious bread and butter pudding. So this could potentially be a dessert idea if you've got people that don't like Christmas pudding or Christmas cake, which I am also going to be making a Christmas cake. I'm actually making this today because we're off to a kind of Christmas with our friends, so we're on dessert duty, so I'm taking this. So for this one you're going to need around 4 tablespoons of demerara sugar. The recipe does actually call for panettone, but I'm using these brioche rolls that I picked up from Aldi instead. You'll then be making your own custard with it as well, so you'll need 300 ml of double cream, 300 ml of whole milk, either a vanilla pod, I couldn't find one, so I'm going to use vanilla extract, 5 eggs, some marmalade, around how much, 60 grams of dark chocolate, caster sugar, so I'll need 100 grams of caster sugar, and some butter as well. So to start off with, I've just put some baking paper which I've lined with some butter to cover a fairly large bowl, and then I'm just going to sprinkle over a couple of tablespoons of the demerara sugar on the base. You just kind of so it coats the base, and then just get that and kind of just shake it around a little bit just so it's all covered, but it's pretty much stuck to the butter in there, which is good. I'll link the full recipe down below if you want to use panettone, but as I said, I'm just using these brioche buns. I'm just going to kind of rip them and then create a bit of a pastry base, I suppose. Well, it's not pastry, is it? But a bit of a layer just all around the bottom and the edge, just by ripping this up and just squishing it down as you do so. Push that down with your fingers, so just kind of squash it down as much as you can, just to flatten it. So now I'm going to make up the butter. So in here I want to add 125 grams of butter. Then to that I'm going to add the 300 ml of milk, and then 300 ml, and I think this is a 300 ml anyway, yes it is, so basically add all of the double cream into there, and then a teaspoon of vanilla extract, or if you have it then just put all of the seeds and the pod itself. So I've just put that on a fairly low heat, and I'm just going to heat that gently. Probably it'll be about 5 minutes, or just until all of the butter has melted. Then meanwhile, in another bowl I'm going to whisk together the sugar and the eggs. Probably should have sifted that in. So you need 100 grams of caster sugar, and then to this mixture and to the sugar I'm just going to crack in 5 eggs. So I'm just going to whisk the eggs and the sugar together. And just leave that, and then hopefully my cream mixture will be almost done. So now the cream mixture is completely warm, so I'm going to, let me just remove that, pour this in here and just constantly stirring just to combine it all together. If you are using a vanilla pod at this point, then you'll want to remove that. So there we go, that's pretty much blended now. Just making sure there's no lumps or anything in there. You want it as smooth as possible. All the sugar and the egg is mixed together with the cream, which it looks like it. And then pour roughly 1/3 of this mixture here over what you've got in there. This would have probably been easier in hindsight in a jug. I'd say that's about a third. Don't worry if it looks like a lot, because it will basically soak it all up. So I'm just going to place that to one side to soak that up, and then I'm going to tear up the remaining brioche and basically add it to the custard. So again, it doesn't really matter how you're tearing it up. It's quite a rustic recipe, so just random sizes, throw it all in, and it will just start to soak up all of that lovely custard. Going to leave that for a couple of minutes just to soak it up. On the gravy that I'm making, oh, it smells delicious. Just kind of get it. I'm just using a masher just to try and squish the chicken wings a little bit and just release more of their flavour. It smells really good. The veggies have all started to soften. And then I'll put that in for, it's got about another 25 minutes left. So I've left this for about 5 minutes, and now it's time to start layering up the most indulgent dessert ever. So I'm just going to dollop some little bits of marmalade in here. So I've just got orange fine zest, this one is, fine cut or whatever it's called. Some little bits of marmalade just kind of dolloped through, and then I'll start to layer it, and I've broken up some of the little chocolate bits as well. So there's no real right or wrong way to do this. Oh. If you've got any of the custard mixture left, just pour that over as well. I reserved a little bit in here just to get to the edges. There we go. Then to finish off, I'm just going to sprinkle over the remaining of the demerara sugar. This will give it a lovely, nice crisp. So a couple of tablespoons of the sugar going over. You then want to bake that in the oven. So I've still got the gravy in there. So bake that in the oven for around 25 minutes at 180 degrees. So it's the same as the gravy. So the oven has just gone off for the, oh, look at this, for the bread and butter pudding. Oh my god, how good does that look? So like I said, I'm actually taking that with me today, so I'm going to leave that to cool down, and then I'll just heat it up later. But actually it's just as delicious cold. So this has been in there probably a good hour now, and it's well done, to be honest. So now I'm just going to transfer that over to the hob. So I've now transferred it to the hob. It's pretty well done, to be honest. And then I want to get a potato masher and just basically squish down to scrape all of that goodness from the bottom of the pan. Like mash the carrots in there, and the onions and the garlic. Bash the kind of chicken as much as you can. And then, so at this point I'm going to add in about 60 ml of port. You can leave this out obviously if you prefer. So just let that cook away. So I've left the pork to cook out, and then I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of flour in there. And then I will add through mash that up, and then you want to add about 2 litres of boiling water. You then want to leave this simmering for probably around 30 minutes until the gravy starts to thicken slightly. Next up, I'm going to make the pigs in blankets. For this, I've got chipolatas. I mean, I've obviously got a lot because I'm hosting for 14 people this year. So really easy to make. All you need are some chipolatas and then some streaky bacon, and essentially just wrap 1 piece of streaky bacon around each chipolata, and then I've just cut up some baking paper here, and then I'll just layer them into a box and they'll just go into the freezer. Hit one end and literally pull it and wrap around your sausage. So they are all the pigs in blankets done. So I've got about, no, how many have I got? 36. So hopefully that will be enough with 14 of us, and like, you know, they're fairly big sausages as well. And that's just saved me so much time not having to do that on Christmas Day. So now just put another layer on there, and they are ready to go in the freezer. So I've left this for around 40 minutes probably. The gravy is a fairly good consistency, and then what I'm going to do is strain it through a metal sieve, so a fairly kind of coarse sieve, and basically just push down all of the veg and everything, put that into a jug, and then I'll pour it into my bags to store in the freezer. So there we have the gravy. You can see I spilled a little bit. So I'm just going to wait for that to cool down, and then I'll pop it into a freezer bag so it can go into the freezer.
Hold on, it's time for it to reappear. Well, all around me I hear children singing.
So I'm now going to put the potatoes on. As I said, we're hosting for 14 of us. I've just done 2 packs of potatoes. Hopefully that will be enough. And then what I've done here is just chop them into fairly large, kind of sizable chunks still once they've all been peeled, and then just put them in some cold water, added a little bit of salt, and then I'll bring those to the boil and then just parboil them for around 6 to 8 minutes. Whilst the potatoes are doing, I'm going to make a start on the cranberry sauce. For this, I'm just putting a small saucepan onto a medium to low heat, and then to that I'm going to add half a cup of caster sugar, 1 cup of orange juice. I'm just using the smooth one. Again, optional, but half a cup of port, a little pinch of ground nutmeg in there, it's not very coming out, and then lastly cranberries. So I'm just using frozen ones that you can pick up in most supermarkets. And what's a pack? It is 400 grams. So put the whole bag of cranberries in there. Then just leave this on a medium heat, probably for, I'd say, around 20 minutes, just stirring occasionally. And then the cranberries will basically kind of start to pop. And just leave it to kind of thicken up until it gets almost like a jam-like consistency. So I've left the potatoes for probably about 6 minutes. I'm just going to strain these and leave them to air dry for a couple of moments.
Well, all around me I hear children sing.
So I've left the potatoes for a little while just to kind of air dry a little bit, and you can see the edges have gone like this. So basically then they'll go super crispy. I'm just going to pop these back in there, and I'll just give them like a little bash around the pan like so, and then all I'm simply going to do now is lay these out on a baking tray and pop in the freezer on the baking tray initially, and then once they're frozen I'll take them out and put them into bags. I find this works better rather than putting them straight into a bag like this, because sometimes then they stick together. And then I'll just repeat again with the next batch of potatoes. Oh, I've got so many they don't even fit. Ow, 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 ow. I'm gonna have to do this in batches, I think.
Oh yeah, the Christmas spirit's coming on.
Just going to pop that into the freezer, and then once it's frozen then I'll add it to the
Love is in the air, my heart is filled with peace. It comes back every year.
Now, just while the potatoes are cooling, I'm going to get the carrots done. Arabella's just grated me some of the orange zest in there. So this is to make the orange and honey and thyme carrots, which are delish. So I'll just put a little bit more of the lime zest. Arabella's tried to grate the actual orange zest even. So just get a big bowl, and I'm using Chantenay carrots. You can obviously use normal carrots. I like these personally because they've got a really nice sweet taste. They don't take as long to cook, and you don't need to prep them. So there's no kind of peeling or anything, but you can obviously follow this similar kind of recipe if you're using normal carrots as well. And then what else am I adding to the bowl? So then I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey as well. Actually, for all these I'll probably need 2 tablespoons of honey, thinking about it, because I've got 4 bags here. Obviously if you're doing less, then just use a little bit less as well. I'm actually going to add in some of the juice from that orange as well. So just squeeze that into there. So to the orange and honey, I'm going to add some thyme in there as well.
Oh, Christmas is a part of me.
I think so nice about thyme and orange. It just goes so well together. So just give all of that a good stir together, and then literally super easy, pouring in the carrots. So then I'm just going to try and give this a good stir together. This is very difficult, just to try and coat the carrots. In hindsight, I probably should have done this in a couple of batches. That's the carrots done, all covered, and now all I'm going to do is put them into the freezer bags.
Love is in the air, my heart is filled with peace. It comes back every year just to set my mind.
There I have the biggest bag of carrots ever. And then all I need to do on the day is, again, I'll cook these from frozen, just pour them out into a baking dish and then cook those for around half an hour. So I've taken the cranberry sauce off and you can see that it's thickened up quite nicely. You can either leave it like that if you prefer it lumpy, or what I'm going to do is just blitz it a little bit. Still keep a few lumps in there, like whole cranberries. Ooh. I'm just going to use a hand blender to blitz it up a little bit. Just a couple of blitzes, and this kind of brings it all together. And then you've got a really thick kind of consistency. So then I'm just going to leave that to cool down before popping it into a bag to go into the freezer. Just look at the beautiful colour of that, absolutely stunning. And then you can either serve that cold, or you can just heat it up in the microwave for a couple of minutes on Christmas Day. So the last thing that I need to do other than the Christmas cake are the parsnips. You can see I've just peeled all the parsnips and now we're going to cut them, but I'm just going to make the kind of sauce to go with them. So I'm making a honey and mustard one for these, so I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons of honey. 1, 2, 3, and then about 3 of the mustard as well. So about 3, that in there. Give that a really good stir together, and then I'll just start to add in the parsnips and just mix it all in. I cut the parsnips, if I've got any big ones like this, just basically chop, oh dearie me, chop the ends off, any kind of mouldy bits on there as well. And then if I've really big ones like this, I will cut in half and then quarter. So I don't bother parboiling these or anything, there's honestly no need at all. And then if I've got some like thinner ones like this, so again chopping the ends off, and then I'll just halve these down the middle like so. I've chopped all of the parsnip and I've kind of learnt my lesson by doing the carrots, and then what I've been doing is mixing as I go along. So I've just put these, because once you get quite a lot in here it's really hard to kind of mix it around, but then obviously it's a lot easier knowing that the majority of them are already coated. So again, I'm just going to put these into a bag. No need to parboil, nothing like that. You just cook these straight from frozen, and these will just now go into the freezer bag.
Christmas is a part of me.
There we are, another bag done. Biggest bag of parsnips. That will save me so much time on the day. Now my cranberry sauce has cooled down nicely, so I'm just going to put this into another little bag.
Christmas is a part of me.
So there we have it, the cranberry. So I've basically got then 2 portions of cranberry, so I'll use this one on Christmas Day, and then I know I've got another portion in the freezer. I've taken the potatoes out the freezer now, they're all frozen. So before I put them into a bag, probably should have done this before I put them in the freezer actually, but I'm just going to season them with salt and pepper. So finally, I'm just going to put the potatoes into a freezer bag, and then I've got some rosemary as well, so I'll just stick a few sprigs of rosemary in between each layer, and then some garlic as well. So I haven't bothered peeling it or anything. And then I'll just cook these in some goose fat. So what I normally do is use some really hot goose fat and then put these in that for around, I'd say about 40 to 50 minutes, and then they will be cooked perfectly. And you can cook these straight from frozen. So there I have it, huge bag of potatoes, just ready to get all of that out on Christmas Day. And like I said, I won't defrost these or anything, I'll just cook these straight from frozen in some duck fat, and then just cook them in the oven for around 45 to 50 minutes. So there is everything that I wanted to prep for Christmas dinner. It doesn't look a lot when you lay it out like that, but that has actually taken quite a long time to do. Obviously I did the bread and butter pudding, but I've already eaten that, which was delicious. Do still need to make the Christmas cake. I thought I'd show you this because it's got really good reviews. I've never made it before, but it's basically a Christmas cake kit. So it comes with kind of everything that you need other than just adding butter and eggs, but it's got all the fruit and everything in there. So we'll probably make that one night this week, so that's done. But yeah, there is everything done. So I've got my cranberry sauce, my pigs in blankets, roast potatoes, honey and mustard parsnips, orange and honey carrots, and then our homemade gravy as well. So that's everything done, and then I've got my little kind of Christmassy notebook here, my Christmas planner, where I've got everything else that we'll be having. So I have put turkey and beef, but we'll just be having turkey, and I think I'm going to get a turkey crown. So I've obviously got my potatoes, carrots. I'll be doing Brussels sprouts with bacon, parsnips are already done, cauliflower cheese I'll make on the day. I just feel that tastes better because when I have frozen it before, it's never turned out very well. But if anyone's got a good pre-made cauliflower cheese recipe, then please do let me know. Stuffing balls I'll also make on the day. Pigs in blankets already done, and peas I might add them in for good measure depending on how much we've got. Starter wise, so we've got a bit of a mixture of prawns, smoked salmon, lettuce, seafood sauce, avocado to make a bit of a build your own prawn cocktail, and then we'll be also serving some pate and bread. Arrival drinks, so I'm going to be making some mimosas and then a bit of a kind of champagne cocktail as well. Canopy wise, we've got bellinis, vol au vents, and just some like smoked salmon or something, not too much because obviously we've got a lot of food throughout the day. Dessert, I've got the Christmas cake, we'll have mince pies, Christmas pudding, and then I'll get cream and then like the Bailey's cream as well. And in the evening, we'll just do a bit of a cheese and cracker board. So yeah, hopefully this has been useful, and trust me, your future self will definitely thank you that you've put all of this effort in already, and then there's nowhere near as much cooking that you need to do on the big day, especially if you're hosting for quite a few people. As always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye!